Shinigami, and today I will be reviewing One Piece Chapter 708. So let's talk about what happens in this chapter. So, we start off where we left off, where Luffy was talking to that giant guy whose name we find out is Chinjao. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. And he's also talking to that guy-girl knight captain of the beauty pirates or whatever. I wasn't sure. I thought it was a girl, but I was like, oh, it's a guy. It's like, okay. So, we continue off from there, and, Luffy's trying his hardest to keep his identity a secret. He keeps trying to stick with Lucy, but he keeps getting mixed up, because he's talking to two people at the same time, and one's like, if you're really the Straw Hat, then I'll kill you right here. No, I'm Lucy. And then the big guy's like, your grandpa has always been my sworn enemy. And then Luffy's like, oh, I hate my grandpa. And then the big guy's like, oh, so you must be Luffy. And then he's like, no, I'm Lucy. So he's really having a hard time of keeping track of it. What else is there? So then the big guy, Chinjao, tries headbutting Luffy and misses, and Luffy's just trying to dodge him, and then the big guy goes in for another headbutt, and then the captain of the beauty pirates stops him with his sword, and everybody's talking about how amazing it is, how his head always breaks things that he headbutts, and the captain of the beauty pirates was able to stop his gigantic form from landing on the ground with just his sword. So it is really pretty impressive. And I thought, is Zoro getting another sword? Because they're talking about the strongest sword in the world. Of course, they exaggerate stuff pretty often, but still, they were talking about how amazing the sword was. I thought, is Zoro getting another sword? But then if you look at the type of sword that it is, it's just, I don't know, the handle wouldn't really work with Zoro unless he took the piece off him. He could do that, but still, I don't think Zoro would use it. But so yeah, they continue fighting, and then Luffy gets mad, and then he punches the old guy in the back of the head, and he smashes into the ground, and everybody, I was pretty impressed with that. I was like, wow, he actually injured him. But then the big guy got up, he's like, you're still far too young and early and need more training to defeat me. So it was starting to get pretty interesting. But then the old man's grandkids, or fellow pirates, hop in, and they calm him down, and then some other people are like, oh, in his golden days, he was worth over 500 million berries, and he's probably weaker than he was then, which is telling you something. So, anyway, his grandkids or whoever come in and calm him down. They're like, he's in the same block as us, so you'll get to kill him in the arena. Just don't do it now, or we'll lose what we really came here for. So, that goes, it's pretty interesting. Then we see Luffy's disappeared, and he happens to be hanging outside the window, but nobody knows that, because he disappeared while everybody was distracted. Then we switch over to the arena, and there's 30 people left out of the 2,000, I think. I don't know. But, yeah, so 30 people left, they're still fighting. Bellamy's hopping around. And he beats up the two guys that were defending the one king who was charging up his punch. And then, the guy who was the master of Fishman Karate or whatever was beating everybody else up too. And then we see that, Bartolomeo is peeing in the water in front of the whole crowd, and everybody's freaking out. And then the Fishman Karate guy comes over, and he prepares to punch him. He says 4,000 tiles, which I think is the same as like 4,000 pounds or maybe 40,000 pounds, I don't know. So he comes over and gets ready to punch him, and Bartolomeo's like, stop. You'd really punch a guy who's defenseless like this? Is just defenseless or whatever. So he prepares to punch him, and then he goes to punch him, and it looks like his arm breaks, and his arm gets all blighted up, and it looks like a force field or something stopped his arm. So this shows Bartolomeo's power, which I think is pretty interesting. He's like, oh, never mind. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh, Luffy's going, who the heck is that guy? So, what did I think of this chapter? I think this was a pretty good chapter. We haven't had a chapter for 2 weeks, so do I think this is good for not having a chapter for 2 weeks? Yeah, it's pretty good. We had some fighting, we had some talking, and discovered some things. So yeah, it was a pretty good chapter for not having one for 2 weeks. I'll do the basic FAP. Badassness is probably a 7. It was a 7. Attention level, I was pretty drawn into it, so I'd probably have to say about a 7 as well. Satisfactory level, how satisfied was I with this chapter? Probably a 6. Interest level, 6.5. Comedy, remember, it's no longer confusion, it's comedy. How funny was the chapter? So comedic for this chapter is probably about a 4 for what One Piece is known for. It's probably about a 4. Fan service. Fan service would probably have to be a 0. No fan service, really. Animation. Animation would probably have to be... Actually, the animation's pretty good this chapter, but still was lacking a little bit, so I'd have to say 8, maybe 8.5. And predictability, probably about a 9. I mean, you knew that they were going to talk. I mean, you don't know specifics, but you know a general idea, so generally a 9. Overall chapter rating, out of 5 stars, 3.5, so yeah. Yeah, definitely a good chapter, definitely go read it, really good, really enjoyed it. I'm hoping for more next week, you know, that they finally get to the fighting. Not that I don't enjoy dialogues, it's just what they're doing right now, they could avoid. I mean, you could just, I guess they do need other people to fight, but still, they could go without this, is what I'm saying, is this isn't really necessary as part of the story. I mean, other than introducing who he will be fighting to. That's the only real reason for it. Yeah, so, remember, links in the description, check out all our other videos. The Naruto and Bleach chapter will be up after this one. I'm pretty sure this will be the first one up. So, keep an eye out for them. And I'm the Shinigami. I'm signing off. Gentlemen.